Hi everybody, welcome to Glow with Grace. I wanted to do another Oria update video. She's 3 years, 10 months now, and today actually we are about to start a journey to leave Ecuador for the first time with her. We're going up to the US for a little while. We don't know exactly how long yet, probably a couple of months. And she's never left Ecuador, and I haven't left here for 5.5 years. So this feels like a really big adventure for all of us. And I just wanted to kind of capture what her reality is like right now before we go, because I anticipate there's probably going to be some pretty big changes once we get up there, and she's going to hit 4 and all that kind of stuff. So this is going to be a kind of snapshot of our life right now with Oria, hopefully. We've actually been putting up quite a lot of videos with Oria recently on our other channel on YouTube, the Raw Food World channel. Maybe I'll put some links to some of those below. There's been a ton of different things with her. So, you know, I always find it really challenging to actually get these videos done because I feel like I don't have enough photos and video clips and stuff of her to kind of share, and it's just me talking about her. So probably with this, by the time I actually get to editing it, I'll try and throw in a few photos and clips and stuff. But if you want to actually really see her in action, there's been a lot of videos with her recently on the Raw Food World channel, so you can check those out. Excuse all my sniffling and red nose. I'm super allergic to our cats right now, and I've been trying to keep them out of here, but they're always making it in. Okay, so at this point, it seems like we're pretty much done with nursing. The last time she nursed was about 6 weeks ago. It was actually August the 12th. I have the date because she was, you know, for the last year or so kind of winding down with nursing, and at some point I just started to kind of keep track of like when was the last time she nursed, and I kind of had an ongoing track of, and you know, prior to that it was probably like 2 months before or something. So, you know, it had really kind of started to shift out of her reality, and it was just kind of more like every time she would remember about that, she would want to nurse. So yeah, the last time was August the 12th, and it seems like we're pretty much done. I guess I don't know. I guess a lot of things can change when you travel, and regressions and things like that. So we'll see. But for now, it seems like we're pretty much done.
There's rubbish.
Whoa, there's rubbish in the rubbish. You got so much, right? She has become much more affectionate with us since stopping nursing, which I think is really interesting, and I've never really heard anyone talk about this before. And I think it's kind of important to talk about. So when she was younger, she was, you know, nursing whenever she wanted. And it seems now what I'm getting is that was kind of like her main form of physical nourishment kind of thing, you know, like that was her form of affection and closeness and intimacy and stuff was primarily through nursing, because she was never, you know, very much into like hugging, kissing, being close to people. She just didn't care, like she just wasn't interested in any of that. And as her nursing career kind of tailed off, she's just, you know, very clearly become much more, you know, wanting to kiss and hug and be close, and wanting me to be close to her when she's going to sleep, and you know, just much more physical touch than before. And actually one of the local women here warned me about that, and it was the only time I've really ever heard anyone talk about this. Is she was saying, you know, as she starts to nurse less now, she's going to want to be really close to you a lot, and then at some point that will balance out. And I was like, okay. And that's definitely what seems to have been the case. So I just think that's really interesting to kind of put out there in people's awareness that, you know, when you have a younger child who has that nursing relationship, that's probably fulfilling a lot of their kind of touch needs, you know, depending on the child. And I just think that's so interesting how that can shift, and it's almost like a different child, you know. It's fun, you know, it's all part of the developing process. Also, something that's been really helpful in that moving away from nursing process and the whole like more touch thing is when she goes to sleep at night. I do a lot of very gentle massage, especially on her back. And another friend gave me that tip at some point as well. She was talking about how with her daughter, she was trying to help her to night nurse. I mean, stop nursing at night. She was using a lot of back massage and, you know, just trying to kind of maintain the contact and the soothing energy and stuff. So that's been really helpful as well in moving away from nursing, just so that she feels, you know, that comfort and closeness and stuff as she's going to sleep. And that's at most nights, that's how she drifts off to sleep, is me laying beside her and doing some very gentle massage, and then, you know, in some minutes she's out. She's also started to say some super sweet things along with this whole being more affectionate thing. Like there was one day where she said, I want to make your feelings better, Mama. And I said, why? And she said, because I like you. I love you. I love you so much, and I want to love you more. It was something like that. Just so sweet, so innocent. And she often has said to me, I really like you, Mama. Like, it just makes me laugh so much. It's like this very considered opinion. Like she's really had a good think about it, and she's decided that she likes Mama. I really like you, Mama. She also has this thing with touch these days that she really likes this part of my hands, like this soft part in between the thumb and the index finger, and that's kind of like a little comfort thing to her these days. She'll squeeze on that if she's feeling a little bit kind of insecure about something, you know. It's sweet. She's always been very verbal, lots of language. You know, she speaks 2 languages and just a lot of around words and language and stuff. And that's just, you know, carried on. And she surprises me so often with the things that she remembers from books, especially. It just blows my mind. Like we have a lot of books, and I read it. Oh, that's also been really helpful with you know, other things for her to be putting attention on as we go to sleep. And rather than nursing, you know, the main thing now is books, which we never did when she was younger because she was always nursing to get to sleep. So, you know, it's like, how do you nurse a child and also read a book at the same time? Like, we just never really read books at going to bedtime when she was younger. But now that's become like the kind of main activity right before she goes to sleep. And so we have a mass of different books, and she'll just suddenly come out with parts of them where we'll, you know, be sitting in the kitchen or something, and she'll suddenly recite like a whole page of a book. Like, what? With like all these words that I'm sure she doesn't even know what they mean sometimes. But she seems to have this really amazing memory for phrases and words, and especially things that rhyme, and she makes up lots of little rhymes and little songs, and she's always like, did you like that song? Yes, I like that song. She has a British accent mostly right now when she speaks English. I'm really curious what's going to happen when we go to the US now. Anything can happen. Maybe she's going to end up sounding more American. And she does get a bit confused sometimes. You know, the other day we were in the car and we were talking about how we were going to go and buy some tomatoes. And then Mr. Monarch said something about buying tomatoes, and she's kind of, you know, looking at the two of us like, what is it? You know, like, is it tomatoes or is it tomatoes? Like, there can be some confusions. But yeah, mostly she speaks with a British accent right now, especially because my nieces came to visit maybe about a couple of months ago from England. So my dad and my sister and my sister's two daughters, who are 10 and 8, came to visit. Maybe some of you saw some videos with them on the Raw Food World channel. And so they were here for a couple of weeks, and that was a really amazing experience for Oria as well, to, you know, just have so much time with them. She's seen like little videos and pictures and stuff of them before, but she's never met them. So she picked up all kinds of little words and phrases and stuff, and her kind of Britishness of her accent really expanded a lot from them being here. So that was a really fun time. She also thinks that French accents are really funny, which I find really funny as well. There's this one video that she likes to watch where there's a guy who speaks with a French accent, and she just thinks it's the most hilarious thing. She always gets me to say stuff, just random stuff with a French accent, and she just like falls over laughing. She thinks it's really funny. She also likes to get me to do this trick with reading the books at night, where she changes the names of the characters, and she's ruthless, you know, like she just doesn't let anything slip if you mess up the name. You know, like we'll be reading about someone who's called David and she wants him to be called Sean or something, and if I kind of am not concentrating and I accidentally read David instead of Sean, she'll be like, Sean. You know, she catches everything. She's really clever, and especially, yeah, all the stuff around words, you know, just so much capacity there. Like, it just blows my mind, the stuff that she remembers from books and the words that she comes out with. She's been sleeping really great for many months now. It's such a blessing, you know, coming from, you know, the first 3 years or so of her waking up very often, all night. You know, I mean, it was different at different stages. Sometimes she'd only wake up a couple of times during the night. She still does usually wake up at least once and swap beds. We're always kind of playing musical beds. But yeah, you know, there were points where she would wake up like 10 times a night when she was younger, and to go from that to waking up, you know, either not at all or just once or twice is a huge difference. You know, I get so much better sleep. And then obviously not nursing as well, you know, it really changes everything. And she actually stopped this pretty recently, but she went through a long stage of sleeping on the floor, which I just think is hilarious. I loved it. I think it's such a good skill to have. You know, she can sleep anywhere. You know how to sleep on the floor, you can sleep anywhere. And, you know, we didn't create this. We didn't like try to encourage her to sleep on the floor. She just suddenly started at some point. She had a couple of kind of wall blankets that were there on the floor, like extra blankets. She just started sleeping on them, and she slept like that for at least 6 months probably. And that's just where she slept. She slept on the floor all the time. And we went on a couple of trips, and you know, we would be in in a hotel, and she would just sleep on the floor in the hotel instead of sleeping on the bed. I just think it's hilarious. It's fantastic. It's such a good skill to have, you know. And she just did it naturally. And I'm sure she can still do that. You know, it was just like a few weeks ago that for some reason, she changed again, and now she's sleeping in a bed again. But I'm sure she can, you know, kind of go back into it whenever she wants. So it's pretty cool.
And there she goes.
Going. Hold my hand.
something else that she does that really makes me laugh. She tries to set up activities for me to do, so that I kind of leave her alone. And it just makes me laugh so much. And I see how children are sponges, and it's just a complete reflection of, what I try to do at different times. If I kind of say like, okay, you do this for a minute and I'm going to do this, she's picked that pattern up, and she'll just say to me something. Her favorite one just makes me laugh so much. She says, "Mama, you go and sharpen pencils. I'm doing something." I guess once I must have been sharpening her coloring pencils, and she just got stuck on that that's the thing for me to go and do, to just kind of leave her alone. "Mama, you go and sharpen pencils." We've been on a few trips, I think, since I last made a video. We went on an amazing trip to the Galapagos, those incredible islands that are off the coast of Ecuador. We've been on quite a few trips to Guayaquil because of trying to get my US visa again. So I feel like it's been really good kind of training for going on this big trip now to the US. And just a lot of fun as well, like different experiences for her. I have this feeling for her that it's like she just constantly, everything's like expanding all the time, and there's just like this desire for new experiences, new input, new stimulation. And I think it's just going to be amazing to be in the US, and we're going to be traveling quite a lot, and it's going to be just a completely different reality to anything that she's ever seen or known, and just so many more opportunities in terms of cultural activities, museums, meeting all kinds of animals who she would never be able to meet here, all that kind of thing. So it feels like, because it was so difficult to travel with her when she was younger, incredibly difficult, even to go down the road into town, she would be getting travel sick. She seems to be moving pretty solidly out of that these days. And it's like, it's just becoming like there's more and more opportunity for things that we can do with her. So it feels really exciting. So another thing with language, she is really just totally bilingual with English and Spanish, and she's very clear and consistent now with her use of the two different languages. When she was a baby, everything was English, and then she kind of flipped into mostly speaking Spanish, and at one point she was like intensely intent on only speaking Spanish. I think I spoke about that once, how at one point Mr. Monarch went on a trip somewhere, and it was like I was the only person around her speaking English, and she was just furious. She just wanted me to shut up talking English. She was straight out just telling me like, stop talking English, and she just wanted everything to be in Spanish. And so she would talk almost all the time in Spanish, but because I understood everything she was saying, I would just talk back in English, and eventually we've reached an equilibrium again. So now everything just depends on who she's talking to, so she can easily just flip backwards and forwards between the two languages. And so it's really amazing. Again, another skill that I'm so glad that she has. She's just totally fluent like that. Another thing that makes me laugh about how she interacts with people is she seems to associate certain activities with certain people, and it's almost as if she thinks that that's kind of the only things that person can do, or something. Like in terms of the things that she does with that person, like the games that she plays with that person, it's like that's what that person does, and this person plays these kind of games, and it's like she kind of has people compartmentalized or something in her head like that. Like when I'm playing with this person, I play this kind of thing, and this other person, I play this kind of thing. And it's sweet. It's like her kind of repertoire with different people. I also want to be clear that it's not always easy, She has a really intense personality. She really does. I mean, from when she was a baby, I would see other people with their babies, you know, just their babies would just like sit on their lap and they would just sit there. She wasn't ever like that. You know, she's intense. She's not like just easygoing, like, yeah, whatever, like just sitting around. She doesn't stop. She never stops. She's just constantly talking, constantly going from one activity to another. Yeah, even when she was small, she was just constantly, you know, moving around and just, you know, stimulation, input, and just such a thirst for fun and knowledge and everything. And she has very clear opinions about things, you know, like she's intense. She is, and sometimes that's hard to kind of explain to people. If maybe people have those kind of just chill, sitting around, easygoing children. She's a lot of fun. She's hilarious. She's like, you know, the funniest person I know. I always wonder if all parents feel like that. She just makes me laugh so much, and she's just so fun, you know. But she's intense as well. She really is. Did you eat that whole cucumber cup? She's very secure in herself, you know. She's very clear about what she likes and doesn't like. Actually, there's something along those lines that I would like to touch on as well, which isn't necessarily much about her, more just kind of something that happens sometimes in the context of her. And I find it really annoying and frustrating as a parent, and I just kind of wanted to talk about it a bit. Maybe it helps other people. It's when people will come up to us to talk to us, and they'll say something to Oria directly, and she maybe doesn't want to say anything to them, and they'll say, oh, she's shy. That just grates on me so much. I think this probably was said a lot to me and about me when I was a child, and I just find it so offensive. It's so incredibly rude to say something like that in front of the person, for a start. It's like you're slapping this label on them, and it's not even true, you know. Like, she's not this kind of like quiet, shy little wallflower. She's like super intense. She's all over the place, and she's non-stop. She just doesn't probably want to talk to you if she doesn't want to talk to you. So yeah, I'm reminded a lot of a great conversation that I had with a father who was here on one of our retreats. Actually, we were having a discussion about parenting, and he said something that really struck me. He said, you can't protect your child from everything and anything that could happen to them, but what you can do is you can interpret those experiences in a way that you feel is the most helpful for your child. And that just brings me a lot of a feeling of relief and peace, you know, that I get to... Actually, I had an amazing experience with Oria about this through, you know, that kind of medium, about this shyness issue. I remembered about that thing of, you know, it's how you interpret it. It's what you say to the child afterwards. This happened and da 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 da. So we had another incident where somebody had said that to her, actually just another child, a child a few years older than her, in a park. And it was like, you know, Oria was kind of trying to process that somehow, and she was kind of playing it out with some toys that she was playing with. And I decided to talk to her about it, and I said something along the lines of, you know, sometimes people say to other people, you know, oh, you must be shy or she must be shy. And it doesn't mean that it's true just because that person says it. What it really shows is that the person saying that is uncomfortable because they're maybe trying to say hello to you, and they're expecting that you say something back, and when you don't, they feel uncomfortable. That's all it really means. And the amazing part was she was kind of a little bit far away from me in the room when I was talking about these things, and she went completely silent, and she turned around and she ran across the room and she threw her arms around me and like sat in my lap, and it was like, it brings me to tears, you know. It was just such a sweet moment, and so like affirming and rewarding, and it just felt really good, you know, to have that kind of communication with her, that she knows that we're completely on her side and we totally get it, and she has support, and you know, just building that trust and everything. It was a really powerful moment. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of add that into the mix. Those thoughts about people calling other people, and especially children, shy, I feel like it's very unhelpful. All right, I think that's it for now. Hopefully I've been able to edit this and throw in some clips and photos and stuff, but otherwise go and check out all those other recent videos of Oria on the Raw Food World channel, and I'm sure as we go through the US we're going to be doing tons more videos. We're leaving in, oh my goodness, about 5 or 6 hours, and we're not anywhere near ready, so this is like down to the wire. I was like, I have to get this video done before we go. I've been trying to do it for days, everything's been crazy, so I'm really glad I finally got this done. Thanks for watching, and see you somewhere along the line, I guess. Ciao.
Igon. Ano, daway. Come on.